Starting, all attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's NAA iSeries webinar. I'm Curtis Kitchen, the Director of Publications and Trade Show for the National Auctioneers Association, and I'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining us for today's newest iSeries installment. iSeries is a free informational webinar series produced by the NAA in order to share auction industry knowledge and insight with NAA members and the general public. We are excited to present today's topic on Facebook lookalike audiences, and before we do, we want to share more with you about the NAA. Headquartered in Overland Park, Kansas, NAA is the world's largest association dedicated to auction professionals and represents the interest of thousands of auction professionals in the United States and across the world. NAA is dedicated to providing educational programming and resources to help members advance themselves professionally. NAA members are an active, thriving, cutting-edge group who abide by a strict code of ethics and belong to a worldwide network made up of peers, buyers, and sellers. The NAA's mission is to provide critical resources to auction professionals that will enhance their skills and successes, and its vision is that NAA members are the preferred auction professionals used in the marketplace. Among those resources provided is the iSeries, and today's session will be presented by 20-year auction industry veteran John Schultz. We are honored to say John is an active member of the National Auctioneers Association and a proud holder of the NAA's Auction Technology Specialist designation. John is currently the Chief Marketing and Technology Officer for Grafe Auction, a Minnesota-based nationwide commercial and industrial auction company. In his role with Grafe, John manages the marketing on over 100 auctions per year and oversees an annual marketing budget of over $300,000. John has served in a wide variety of committees and is past president of the Minnesota State Auctioneers Association and Minnesota State Auctioneers Foundation. He is also the 2009 recipient of the Minnesota Golden Gavel Award for outstanding service to the auction industry. Now, before John unlocks the marketing mystery of Facebook lookalike audiences, please note that you may submit questions at any time during the presentation. Those questions will then be asked during our brief Q&A period following the conclusion of his presentation. You can take part in that conversation by typing your question and submitting it. A little later, we'll also ask that you please take part in a very short 3-question poll toward the end as well. With that, John, thanks for joining us today and for your presentation.
Thank you, Curtis. Appreciate the opportunity to present to you and to all the active listeners out there today. It's certainly an honor, and I appreciate that very much. We've got a lot of material that we're going to cover in the next 18, 19 minutes. So buckle up, as some of my friends will tell you, here comes the fire hose of information. So we're going to start with just an overview of Facebook audiences, and I'm going to take you through a couple of different ways that we can use Facebook to market to our audience, to our customers, to our potential buyer bases, and I'll take you in depth into some more advanced methods that we're using, and I'll show you how we're using that and what that is doing for our traffic to our website and what that's doing for the cost that we're actually spending in marketing. As we get in here, you'll get a real good feel for that. So as we talk about Facebook marketing, there's 2 particular types of marketing that we're going to discuss a little bit today, and where we'll use the secrets of Facebook, if you will, that Curtis mentioned in our marketing, and that's with posts. And you can boost posts. Certainly, we do this, and I'll show you Facebook here at the end of this slide. And so you can do a promoted post or boosted post either from your page or from the ads manager. And there's a second set of ads that look like that they're actually ads that show up on Facebook. And let me take you through this. I'll show you my Facebook and here. First, I'll show you what a promoted post looks like. So this is your Facebook page, and you can see here, this is your timeline of what your Facebook page should look like, or very similar to this. And our objective here is this is where most of the people are going to spend their time on Facebook, whether you're on your mobile device or on your desktop. And so we want to disrupt this space with our marketing. We don't want customers to have to come and find us. We want to get our marketing into this space and disrupt their time spent looking at their family photos or communicating with their friends and family. We want to get in there and disrupt it. So really, I like to talk about, and I use this a lot, is disruptive marketing. So when you come to our company page, this loads up here, you're going to see here's a post right on top, an auction we have next week on Tuesday in Denver. So you can see it's just a normal post with photos. I've got 8 photos in here. Sometimes you can do up to as many as 40 photos here. I like to do these posts about 7 days in advance. King Soopers must sell all their food service equipment in their Denver warehouse regardless of price. Bid your price on large quantities of excellent equipment. Learn more. And you can come down here and you can actually boost this post if you want. I choose not to use the boost post here. I'll show you where we do use it and why we do that here in a second. But you can boost it here. This is a boosted post. This has been boosting since yesterday, and you'll see that 15,000 people have been reached by this ad. They've seen it in their news feed. So when you boost this post, it shows up in their news feed. So this is disruptive, which is what we want to accomplish. 15,000 people have seen it. You can see 12,000, almost 13,000 people I've paid to make sure they see it. 37 people have liked it, and more than that. 25 people have shared this post. You can see that there's been 12, almost 20 comments on this, in fact. So that's the boosted post. The other type of marketing that you can do on Facebook that is very effective is an ad. So this is an ad for that same auction. You can see over 250 quality food service equipment items must sell regardless of price. Now again, this shows up in the news feed, primarily in the news feed, so I'm disrupting the news feed. But you can see it's got a different look and feel to it than a post. This is a post, this is a news feed. So it would, instead of saying being written by John Schultz up here, this would actually say sponsored. You can see this. There's only one photo, bid your price, and get a little bit of text here, and then you can click learn more. And you can see this exact ad has reached 3,000 people, of which almost all of them are paid. The 23 are people that have been, the post has been shared with, so we've got some organic reach going on with this particular ad. So let's take a look at what that means and how that works. So, sorry here, let me get to this correct screen. So as you're on your Facebook page, on the left-hand side, there's going to be a tool called Ads Manager. I've moved mine up and made it a favorite within mine. You may have to search along this left-hand side to find where your Ads Manager is. I use this every day, so my Ads Manager, I moved up to the top. So as you click on that, your Ads Manager is going to look something like what I'm going to show you here as it loads. Typically takes a few seconds to load. But this is going to be your dashboard of all the ads that you've ever ran on Facebook, for that matter. So you can see at the top here, you can see our current, we've got 5 current ads running on Facebook. You can see the results, how many people they've reached, what my cost has been for how much money I've spent out of my total budget, and when they're going to. So this is where I highly recommend using this tool. It has great reporting tools. In fact, we have a custom report I like to use in here called the marketing report. I just built this myself, and you can do that yourself also, but it gives me some different data. So you can see that King Soopers ad, we spent $64 on the ad. It's reached 13,000 people, and 320 people have clicked through from that ad and clicked through to our website. So 20 cents to get somebody to our website, which is extremely effective. You can see a post, and I know a lot of auction companies that do these promoted posts. They are effective. I've spent $64, so almost the exact same amount of money as I have with the ad. I've reached 13,000 people, almost the same amount of people, but only 140 clicks to our website. So I'm at 46 cents there. And that is typical. Here's one that's an auction that's Monday next week, about the same reach. I've reached about 20,000 people. One has got 143 link clicks. One has got 700 link clicks. The ad, of course, has a lot more link clicks. And I'll show you how we accomplish that. So the post is, it's cost me 77 cents versus 15 cents for an ad. So these ads are extremely effective, and we've made them more effective by using a tool called, and that's what we're going to get into, is custom audiences. So a custom audience is an audience that you actually upload to Facebook. So for what we've done, we've segregated our customer databases into many different categories. Categories based on assets, what type of assets they purchase, What type of buyers are they? Are they repeat customers of ours, or are they one-time customers? And VIP, I like to call VIP customers for us, are customers that spend more than $2,500 at any auction. So I have these all segregated, and we actually upload them to Facebook. And I'll show you here. Under Tools, there's a button. Under Tools, there's a tool called Audiences. So we'll click on that, and you're going to see in here some audiences that we have. It takes a couple seconds to load. So here you can see our custom audience. That's our customer. So this is all of our customers. We have about 26,000 people that are in our customer database, and we upload either their phone number, their email address to Facebook, and I'll show you how to do that. And then Facebook goes out and takes that data, and it goes and tries to match them. And so we were able to take our 26,000 customers and turn them into 8,500 customers that are matched on Facebook. And the same with top dollar. So people that spend more than $2,500. The list is about 600 people. Facebook matched 200 of them. And VIP, which are people that attend multiple auctions of ours, I think there's about 3,000 people on there. Facebook has matched about 700 of them, which would be typical. They tend to match about a third to a half of your customers. So you've got this custom audience group, which is cool. So now when I create an ad, this actual ad right here, I'm not actually sending this to the general public. The boosted post, in contrast, I send this to the general public, everybody that lives within 50 miles of the auction location. So everybody within 50 miles of Denver, which I think there was like 2.5 million people, if my memory serves me right, that ad could potentially reach. And then that's just a matter of budget, how many of those people you're going to reach. Now, this ad, the actual ad as opposed to the post, I'm actually sending that to my custom audiences. So everybody that's a VIP, a customer, or a top dollar on my list receives that ad. So it's a great way for me to reach out to customers that are already my customers. And then from there, I can market to them. Obviously, I can market differently to my VIPs and differently to my regular customers and differently to my top dollars because they're all different types of customers. Or maybe you have a commercial and industrial. We have a commercial and industrial sale today. In fact, so I pulled that asset class out of our mailing list, put them into Facebook and said, okay, match all my commercial and industrial buyers to Facebook users. It said, cool, let's do that. It finds 300 of them it matches. And I can then market directly to those commercial and industrial buyers only. And you can, the opportunities are endless as to what you can do here with segmenting your buyer databases and reaching out to them. Extremely powerful and extremely cost effective because they're people that are already engaged with your brand. To create a custom audience, right here under audiences, there's a button that just says create audiences, custom audience. I won't walk you through loading one, but then you're going to create one from either customer list, website traffic, or app activity. So you can, I like to do customer lists, and then I can either upload a file or copy and paste. So I typically copy and paste. So I copy and paste, and then you would just copy in your emails here or your phone numbers of your customers, and Facebook would go to work, and it'll take some time. It typically takes half hour to 45 minutes for it to go through that data and match it. Again, super effective because now you're able to reach targeted marketing to people that are already your type of customers. And we've been doing that, and it's been extremely effective. Now, we took that a step farther. Facebook offers a tool, and this is my favorite tool, and I highly recommend this tool. I use this on every single auction, and it's a great way for the smallest auction companies in the world to compete with the biggest auction companies in the world, and vice versa. For the company that's in Minnesota like we are to compete with a company that's in North Carolina without actually having a physical presence in North Carolina. And let me show you how to do that. So Facebook has a lot of data, over 500 data points on every one of their users. And so we can take this list. So, and I've done this, we take our VIP list right here, and we can create an audience called a lookalike audience. And what Facebook does then is it takes those users and it does a demographical analysis on them, and it finds common data points between all 500 people or 700 people or however many in the list. This one has 700 people. And then you can see right above it, it takes about a couple hours, and it'll come back to me and say, okay, cool, here's a VIP lookalike of customers that look just like your VIP customers. And it gives me up to between 1 and 10% of the U.S. population, or whatever country you want. This works for any country, whatever country you want, of people that look like your customers. So now I have a list of 2.5 million people in the United States that are very similar to my VIP customers. And you can see that I've done this, these lookalike audiences with our customers also. I've got a customer lookalike audience, our commercial and industrial lookalike. So I can now reach people that look like our commercial and industrial buyers. I like to do 1% because the smaller the percentage you use, the more likely you are to have very concentrated matches there. And you can see when we were at the ads manager before, as we roll back here, you can see again the cost here. And so this King Soopers ad is actually targeted to, you'll see this on the right-hand side of the screen in a second. The targeting is to all of our top dollars, our customers, our VIPs, our VIP lookalikes, our customer lookalikes, and our active 30-day visitors to our website, or our active 30-day visitor lookalikes. So we're actively targeting the people that are our customers and the people that look like our customers, which is fantastic because now I can reach into anywhere in the United States and reach customers that look like my current customers. And we have found that to be extremely effective. And you can see the ad costs are a third of what they were. In fact, since moving to this in this direction, our marketing budgets have gone from about $5,000 in auction, $4,000 in auction, and we typically average $2,500 of marketing per auction now. We've been able to take our marketing budgets almost in half. Our crowds are up, our prices are up, our engagement is up in our auctions. Super fantastic tool. So I would recommend your lookalike audiences. And again, they're just audiences that are made up. They use your current customer bases as a base to upscale into a large audience. And this audience is updated in real time. So as I come in here to our audiences, I update ours every month. So as we get new customers in the month of September, then I can upload my new customers into this customer base. It will automatically update this list, and maybe this will go to 8,600 or 9,000 or whatever the number becomes, and it will automatically update my customer lookalike. So as people come in and out of that group, the custom lookalike audiences are completely and continually being updated and tweaked. I've got just 2 slides in closing. This goes fast, obviously, but in God we trust, all others bring data. My big thing for you is test. Test. We certainly within Facebook are testing all the time with different lookalike audiences and different ways to do ads. And what we're seeing is that these lookalike audiences and custom audiences are extremely cost effective with extremely good returns. You can see for not a lot of money, you can accomplish a lot. You know, you look at this Patasics ad here, it's $375 we're going to spend over the course of a week. 23,000 people have already seen the ad, and 700 people have clicked on the link for 15 cents. To get somebody to our website for 15 cents is fantastic. And the last thing I'm going to show you in closing here is in our Google Analytics, and just show you what has happened since we've shifted our marketing to digital marketing, and primarily Facebook. Facebook accounts for about 90% of our marketing traffic to our website, inbound traffic to our website. So this is the traffic to our website since 2013, and I'll pull this up. This is a rolling total of 30-day traffic. You can see here in 2014 we stopped doing newspaper marketing. We began doing digital marketing all the way through 2015. Before that, we averaged about 5,000 visitors a month to our website. You can see here is about where January is. There's a dip because we took the month of December off, more or less. And then here you can see now we're experimenting with these custom audiences and lookalike audiences. You can see our traffic now regularly reaches 50 and as high as 100,000 active users a month to our website, where before our peak was 50,000 last year. And before we went to digital marketing, our peak was right around 7,000, 8,000 people in a month to our website. So extremely effective at driving very targeted traffic to your website in a very, very efficient, cost-effective manner. And I am going to turn this back over to Curtis because I bet there are some questions here.
There are, John. Thanks so much for your insight and knowledge. And at this time, as we mentioned at the beginning, we will now open the floor to our iSeries attendees who have questions. If you haven't done so already, please submit your question, and we'll do our best to get through those, or as many as we're able here in our time here today. First question, John, is there a cost in getting a list started as opposed to maybe starting an ad?
There's not. That's, in my opinion, the best thing is there's not a cost. You can take your list, upload it to Facebook for nothing. You can create your lookalike audience, no cost to do that. The only cost comes into play when you actually start paying to do your promoted posts or your ads, when you start using those lists. Otherwise, no cost at all, which is fantastic. It's very easily accessible by any size of an auction company or marketer.
Excellent. And then you mentioned testing a little bit, and someone had a question about that as well. Is there a smart way to test? I mean, you can, I guess the easier, or maybe not the easier way to ask the question is, but you can chase your tail if you're testing too much without seeing or without waiting for results. So is there a good time range that you would suggest for testing ads, or a good way to be smarter about your test as you have ads running?
Yeah. I like to have a base. So I like to have, depending on the volume of auctions you're doing, for us doing the volume we do, I took about 3 months of data that I set the base at. Okay, this is how much we're generating to our website as a base. And then I said, okay, let's test boosted posts. I remember in 2014 when we started doing boosted posts. Let's test it. And what happened? And I tested it again for a couple of months and said, okay, did it change anything? And it did. Obviously, you saw that in the chart I showed with the analytics, how much of a change it made. And then I continued to change and it continued to learn. But I like to do 2 to 3 months, which for us turns into about 20 or 30 auctions. Smaller companies that aren't doing the same transactional volume, may want to stretch that out, or may want to or make that smaller. Maybe you only test it across 2 or 3 auctions. But the risk you run when you test it on just 1 auction or 2 auctions is you might get an abnormality. You might just have a fluke result and be like, yeah, this is the best, and it turns out it's just a fluke. So you want to make sure you get a solid base that you can measure against, and then solid results that you can measure against.
Sure, and then we've got time for just a couple more questions here. One being, how important is it to be, we just talked about testing, but how important is it to be consistent with your approach? Obviously, I don't know that it would be very effective to just try to do a one-off or even 3 or 5 and just assume that you've got it figured out from that point.
It's very important, both from a branding standpoint and from a marketing standpoint, in that if you would go through our Facebook promoted posts or our posts on our page, they all have the same kind of talk and feel about it, and that's happened through testing, because we've tested, okay, what length are these posts? How short should they be? How long should they be? What should they say? What words get people to click? So it's important to be consistent, and then that plays through. Then when somebody sees that post again, it's a consistent look and feel to them, and they go, oh yeah, this is that Grafe company again. Great. Especially when you're using those lookalike audiences. I think it's very important. So my changes are minimal, and I'm not changing 15 variables at a time. You need to change 1 variable at a time, otherwise you're going to get mixed signals.
Sure, that absolutely makes sense. And then the final question that we have here for today, or during the session, is you looked at a lot of metrics and ways to return or see the return on your ad. Is there one metric in particular that you pay attention to in order to gauge whether whether an ad or a campaign was successful?
I actually look at 2. One is cost per click. So what's it costing me to get somebody off of Facebook onto our website or into our marketplace? That to me is an important number, because I use that metric against all my other marketing. So I do the same with our direct mail that I do. So I know that direct mail, it costs me $1 to get into their inbox. It costs me, actually, it's almost $40 to get somebody off of a piece of direct mail onto our website. And so I can now compare apples to apples. What's the cost to reach somebody? What's the cost to get them to our website? So that's the metric. And then also my conversion rate. If I'm reaching 2 million people and only 50 of them are clicking through, that might not be the most effective thing, whereas if that conversion percentage rate is higher, I watch that number. I try to keep that in that. Just I look at industry standards, and you get in that 3 to 4% range, and you're doing very well.
Got it. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, John, for answering those questions and for the presentation again here today. Thank you to all of you who submitted questions, and we apologize if we didn't get to yours. We have collected those questions. We will forward them on to John so that he could have an opportunity after this session to respond to your questions later via email. So we thank him in advance for that as well. It is now time for you to give us feedback on today's session. We're going to roll through some poll questions here on your screen, and we'd like you to answer those as they appear. We're going to move fairly quickly through these, so please answer as swiftly as you're able. Your first question of 3, I have learned something here today that I plan to use on my next marketing campaign. It's a very simple yes or no question. I have learned something here today that I plan to use on my next marketing campaign. We'll give you 5 to 10 seconds here to answer. Go ahead and put your answer in, please. Okay. Question number 2. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest score and 1 being the lowest, how would you rate today's iSeries presentation? Again, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest score and 1 being the lowest, how would you rate today's iSeries presentation? And we'll give you just a few more seconds to answer on that. Okay, and question number 3. I would like to learn more about the upcoming Auction Technology Specialist designation classes. Again, that is, I would like to learn more about the upcoming Auction Technology Specialist designation classes. That's the ATS designation for those of you in the audience who may not be aware.
That, if I may influence this question a little bit,
absolutely.
It has been rewritten with 5 new modules that are all marketing based. So what you got here in 20 minutes, you get spread across 3 days in 8-hour days. That is very in-depth marketing.
Excellent. And yeah, obviously John is not going to be biased at all, but absolutely we'd love you to take part or at least learn more information about the ATS program. It's one we're very excited about. Of course. And so, all right, that'll wrap up the poll section for today. Thank you for taking part in that survey. Before we end the session, a couple of closing notes. We noted at the beginning that John does hold the NAA ATS designation, and he gave you his pitch right there. If you're interested in obtaining the high-level ATS education that John has, plus the new information that is now part of that curriculum, you can. Classes are on the docket coming up in the next several months and will be offered November 2nd through the 4th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And again, December 7th through the 9th in Las Vegas. If you are interested or would like more information, please call Carrie Boydston at 913-563-5432 to sign up or receive more info. Again, you can contact Carrie Boydston at 913-563-5432. You will get a replay of today's session through an emailed link by the end of this week, and that will include the slides as well. In addition, if you are an NAA member and you've missed any previous iSeries sessions, you can also you can hear those again. iSeries archives are available at auctioneers.org/NAA-education, and that URL again is auctioneers.org/NAA-education. Again, if you'd like to hear this series once it's uploaded in the archives or any other iSeries that we've done in the past. You do need to be an active member, and you will need to log in to access those. Finally, our next iSeries webinar will be Wednesday, December 2nd at 2 o'clock Central Time on future auction industry trends. It's something we like to do or take a look at the end of one year when we get ready to start the next year, is always to look at future trends, see how they may affect the auction industry. So please join us on December 2nd, Wednesday, December 2nd at 2 o'clock Central Time for that. We will send more information on that session in the near future as well. Thank you again for taking part in NAA's iSeries. That will conclude today's webinar. And remember, the NAA iSeries exists because it's about you. Have a great afternoon.